Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going through a nifty little feature that has been included in Forza Horizon 5 that you may not know is in the game. Now this has actually been around I think since Horizon 4, and this is a feature of launch control, which is actually pretty cool. And what we're going to do in a minute as well is test it to see if it actually proves to be useful. Now what you need to do first of all is make sure that you're a manual or manual with clutch gear settings. This doesn't unfortunately work in automatic. Now the way in which you actually use the launch control is when you've got the brake and the accelerator on, you want to change either down into reverse and back into first, or up into second and back down into first. So you'll see here the revs are going maximum, but as soon as I changed up to second and back down, it limits the revs, and then you can use launch control and set off. So what I think is pretty cool to do is do a couple of scientific experiments and figure out if you actually get from 0 to 100 quicker using launch control or not using launch control. So that's what we're going to do now, but obviously I've already shown you guys if you want to go in game and test the feature itself. So first of all, we're going to do a timed run from 0 to 100 miles an hour, not using launch control. Now remember, this is on manual. I admit some of my gear change ups weren't the best, but this first run with no launch control was 4.44 seconds from 0 to 100. So now what we're going to do is the same test but using launch control. So the same as 0 to 100, and let's see how long this takes. So there you saw that using launch control got a time of 0 to 100 of 4.24 seconds, which is just a bit quicker than not using launch control. But in the name of science, I think we better do it again. So here you've just seen again, we are not using launch control, and it got a time of 4.39. Now that's obviously quicker than the first run, and you've got to remember this is all manual, so it's all about my rubbish reflexes. Now we'll do it again with launch control of 0 to 100. And there you can see that was a time of 4.44 seconds, so that was slightly slower than when we used launch control before. So whether it's all down to my gear changes or maybe it just doesn't make a difference, I still think another test is in order. So we're going to do 0 to 100 starting from second gear, you're using launch control, because it just seemed funnier. So using launch control there was 4.41 seconds from second gear to 100 miles an hour. And now we're going to do the test not using launch control from second to 100, and that was 4.43. So altogether, all of the time runs were actually fairly close to each other in that sort of mid 4-second region. But is it safe to say that launch control actually makes a difference? I don't think it does. Whether that's just because it's not been sort of properly thought through in the game, or maybe just using this car it's not going to be a massive difference anyway, but I figured to use 2017 Nissan GT-R would be a good car to use, as it does have launch control anyway. Now, you can use the launch control feature on numerous cars throughout the game. I've tested it on a few. I don't know about some of the older cars though. Obviously cars that wouldn't have standard come with launch control, i.e. a Ford Escort for instance. So, you know, whether that works still, I haven't tested, but you guys can let me know if you want to try it out. So like I said, just remember, make sure you're in manual or manual with clutch. Once you've got the brake and the accelerator held down, change up and back down to first, or down and back up to first, and then you'll see that the revs will be limited and you can set off. It's as simple as that. Anyway, I hope that you found this interesting. I hope it did help you out. If it did, I would very much appreciate if you could drop a like, and subscribing massively helps me out as well. But apart from that folks, I want to wish you all the best. Make sure you stay safe and take care.